Hey everybody, it's Cowboy Mike with the Cowboy Mike Poker Cowboy Log number 40. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. We're going to do an interview today here at Bally's in Lincoln, Rhode Island, but my subject of my interview has departed the area. But we will catch up with him. That's John the Plumber at Bally's, the well-known poker player. Well-known cash game player, very good cash game player, mid to higher stakes player. We were going to interview him today, but instead of doing that, we're going to talk about how the game has changed over the last 10, 15 years. And if you've been playing this game since 2010, 2012, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The tournament game. There's just a lot more content out there for people to learn, for people to train. So when you think you're making a move on someone and you're trying to steal the blinds or steal from the button, whatever, there's a lot more reaction than there used to be. That's why I think your hands get called a lot more often when there's a $12 bet. Like on a 1-2 table, you got 4 callers, 5 callers at a 1-2 table. Didn't used to be that way in cash games. In tournaments, it's the same thing. We start out 100, 100, or 100, 200, and then you get to 100, 200, 200. But in the early stages of the tournament, you got everybody calling everything. I don't care what 2 cards they had. You have 7, 6, 7 callers at the table. Now, is this the right way to play the game? Absolutely not. You're supposed to, the old adage is that you need a better hand to call a raise with than you do to raise with. So if you have, 6 deuce on the button, you can raise with that, but you're not supposed to call with that in middle position. 100% never. Or even like, 6-3 or 9-3 or 9 deuce, and you see this all the time in tournaments. People are calling even out of the blinds with those hands, and the game has changed because there's just too much more information out there as far as what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and there's a lot of discussion on the correct way, the correct way to play. GTO, which is game theory optimal for those of you who don't know, or TAG, which is tight aggressive, or LAG, which is loose aggressive. We never used to have all that. We used to just have straight poker. You got ace king, you raise. You got kings, you raise. You got queens, you raise. You got pocket jacks, you call. You never seen the amount of 3 betting and 4 betting and 5 betting we have in today's game. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that there's a lot of bad players out there that are not learning what they're supposed to be learning when they're studying. They're taking the information and they're changing it. No book, no video, and no teacher is ever going to teach you to call with 9-4 offsuit in middle position. But you see it all the time. A bluff raise on the button with 9-4, it's acceptable when there's no one in the pot, of course. And if you're trying to take the blinds and antes down and you get lucky and hit a flop. But for the most part, we are in an age where people are not playing the same way they did 10 and 12 years ago. So I want you to comment below on this YouTube, not on the Facebook page, not on the Twitter page, but on the YouTube itself. 1, have you changed your game in the last 10 years? And if so, how have you changed? Without divulging any secrets, okay? But just say, how has it changed? Have you gotten looser? Have you gotten tighter? Have you gotten more aggressive? Have you gotten less aggressive and more passive? Because there's so many styles of play, and those have been with us, for the last 10, 12 years. But the way people play now, and the way they learn, whether or not they're learning, studying correctly, that's the big thing. Are you studying correctly, or are you taking the study and changing it and reinventing the wheel? So comment below, please, how your game has changed over the last 10 or 12 years. And if you haven't been playing 10 or 12 years, just comment how your game has changed in the last 3 or 4 years. So, again, this is Cowboy Mike Poker, and this is the Cowboy Log number 40. And we're at Bally's today in Lincoln, Rhode Island. We're just doing a 1-2 session here, 6 hours. And we also drop down in limit, just so you know it's okay to do. You know, when you're getting beat up at a 2-5 table and things aren't going, the cards aren't falling, then you know you need to look at your budget and you need to drop down, and that's what we did. But we're doing very well today at 1-2, so we're happy about that. So again, Cowboy Mike Poker, the C-log. The C-log stands for the Cowboy Log. There's only one Cowboy Mike. Cowboy Mike Poker signing off.